Thank you. It's truly a privilege, I feel, to be here. This is an extraordinary event, unlike any TEDx events I've been to yet, and I think you'll all agree. I'm going to spend a little bit of time today talking about TED, about where it's been, where it's going, and about the TEDx program in general. So TED started off in 1984. At the time, it was a very small, exclusive conference that approximately 500 people went to once a year. In 2002, Chris Anderson took over TED, and the first thing he did was to transform it from a for-profit into a non-for-profit organization with the mantra of ideas worth spreading. And the next thing that, as a group, we decided to do with Inside TED is to take these talks, these lectures that were 18-minute lectures that were happening in a small room to a very exclusive audience and put them online for free. So in 2007, the first TED Talk was released on the web. And at the time, it was a fairly risky decision. We didn't know how our core audience, the people attending the conference, were going to respond. And we actually didn't know if people were going to show up on the web to watch these talks, the idea of an 18-minute online lecture on the internet. At the beginning, we didn't have a large amount of people watching the talk, but we were getting emails with this kind of reaction. I'm sitting at my desk at work, tears running down my face, watching Majora Carter's presentation and thinking, I love this woman. And so we realized we were onto something here. People were really responding to these online lectures in a sort of very incredible, personal way. We started putting more of these talks online, and these talks started to spread. And as of today, we have about 700 talks on TED.com, and over 250 million people have seen TED Talks. And their pure goal is ideas worth spreading. And so our next project was to think, well, all these talks on TED.com are in English, and so we were excluding this huge global audience. And so we started to think about how we could take these talks and make them more accessible to the non-English speaking audience. And so we launched this project called TED's Open Translation Project. And as of today, there are about 4,000 volunteer translators around the world translating TED Talks, working in 77 different languages, and they've translated about 10,000 different TED Talks. So the next step was, as the TED brand was now becoming exposed on a more global basis because of both the TED Talks being online and this amazing translation project, more and more people were coming to us at TED and saying, can you host a TED in Rio? Can you host a TED in Sao Paulo? We'd get this request at least 2-3 times a week. And the TED crew is a small crew. I think at the time there were about 30 people at TED full-time. And so expanding TED in that way was not possible. And so we started to think about what could we do to really embrace this passion we were seeing out there for the concept of ideas and ideas worth spreading, and how could we give it back to these local audiences that were really reacting to it in this very passionate way. And so after a lot of debate internally, we came up with this idea of TEDx. And the TEDx program launched about 1.5 years ago. And I think at TED internally at the time, we thought maybe 10, maybe 30 people would show up to host a TEDx event. And we saw it as maybe a few people sitting around in a room watching some TED Talks. And today we have over about 1,400 registered TEDx events, and they planned in about 95 different countries in about 45 different languages. And this with approximately 100,000 attendees, although this number is very hard to gauge. And they've been events as ambitious as this truly extraordinary event here today, to events that have happened in places like Kibera, which is a shanty town in Nairobi, where the organizer basically put a sheet on the wall, projected some TED Talks, and invited some local people from the community to speak at his TEDx event. So a snapshot of what's happening in Latin America, we have about 66 TEDx events that have either past or future events. And these include, I'm just going to, I took a spattering of them to show TEDx Buenos Aires. They've truly been some extraordinary events. And so in a very short time, we've experienced this truly remarkable growth, and we at TED are in awe of it daily, and we constantly see it as an amazing opportunity. But with an opportunity like this comes some really huge challenges, as you would imagine. And my biggest inspiration actually came at what happened at TEDx Great Wall. There was an organizers workshop in May. And yesterday we had a similar workshop here for the TEDx organizers in Latin America, where we brainstormed ideas for the future. And I'm launching, as of today, the concept of TEDx, which is a collaborative concept between TEDx organizers and audiences around the world. And so I really want to reach out to you to think about what TEDx could become in your community, and how you both as an audience, as a group of TEDx organizers could really embrace this while truly maintaining the TED DNA and the TED principles. And when I think about that, some of the words that come to mind are some of the words that I have put up here on the slide. And I want you to really think about this as your platform. It's an opportunity for all of us to do something different here. And just in closing, I'm going to play just a short video that sort of embodies what's been going on around the world. So all around the world, people are meeting to discuss the power of ideas, and this is really being done for passion. And so I think a common theme throughout this event has been this interconnectiveness of us as a global community. And we at TED do really believe that we're on this extraordinary journey, and it'll be up to each and every one of you in the room to make it so. So thank you.